Do women really live longer than men? German anthropologists looked at mammals and birds to find the scientific answer. Hello and welcome to The Print. This is Akanksha Mishra and you're watching Scientifics, where I will be taking you through this week's top science news from across the world. The first story today tries to answer the age-old question of whether women actually live longer than men. It is true that globally, on average, women do live longer, and this has seemed to be true throughout history and across countries. But scientists from Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology extended this to other mammals and even birds to see whether it's true for them too. They found that yes, females indeed live longer, and it's not just a coincidence. There are evolutionary factors that help this. One of the main theories that's propounded is that women have two X chromosomes, meaning they are homogametic, while men have one X and one Y chromosome. In mammals, this is seen as a survival advantage because it protects females from harmful mutations. The Max Planck scientists also found that this repeated in almost all mammals, even in birds. But in some birds, the opposite is true. So females have X and Y chromosomes, while males have two X's. And lo and behold, males in those species live longer than females. Another reason that's found for women living longer is the role of sexual selection and caregiving. So, most males across species develop certain sexual selection traits, like having colorful plumage or having antlers or even being larger in size. These are great for attracting mates, but they might be an overall disadvantage for lifespan. Also, females perform the caregiving role, and scientists found that it is a selective advantage, where they usually survive until their offspring matures. Next up, not all wildfires are bad news for birds in California's Sierra Nevada, and some moderate severity fires can even boost bird populations. And these benefits can last for decades. Researchers from UCLA analyzed 20 years of bird monitoring data across Yosemite, Sequoia, and the Kings Canyon National Parks and paired it with fire records from the past 35 years. Their findings that were published on October 9th in Fire Ecology Journal shows that 28 out of 42 bird species were more abundant in areas that had been burnt. For 11 of those species, the fire's positive effects lasted for at least 35 years. Why is this so? Well, when forest fires occur, they leave behind a much richer landscape, with some burnt open forest and other wooded enclaves. This supports a more diverse group of animals and birds. Also, fires leave behind snags and twigs that are perfect for building nests, and the new growth of grass and shrubs after a forest fire can attract new insects, which are great for birds to feed on. So if you thought that forest fires brought only devastation, think again. Short, low-intensity fires are actually beneficial to the biodiversity of many forests and green regions, as long as they are natural or controlled. Next up, in a first-ever experiment, a group of scientists from Australia's RMIT University sent samples of a bacteria, Bacillus subtilis, up to space in a rocket. This experiment was to see whether bacteria that's essential for human survival could manage the harsh conditions and the forces of space launches. And the results were actually positive because the samples reached altitudes of up to 260 kilometers above Earth and they returned back to the ground unharmed. The bacteria is essential for immunity, gut health, and blood circulation. It was launched on a sounding rocket and experienced up to 13 times of Earth's gravity on ascent and 30 grams on descent. When the payload returned, the bacteria's structure and growth were unchanged. The authors said that these findings expand our understanding of how life copes with spaceflight. It also demonstrates that microbes, which are crucial for sustaining human life, are more resilient than expected. The results could also inspire innovations in biotechnology on Earth and guide future searches for microbial life beyond our planet. Finally, scientists from University of Bern in Switzerland have found that Mars is much windier than once believed, which is a finding that can reshape how we understand the planet's weather, its climate, and even our future exploration of it. The scientists analyzed more than 50,000 satellite images from European Mars missions, tracking thousands of dust devils, which are swirling columns of dust across the red planet. The team measured that dust devils racing across the Martian surface at speeds of up to 160 km per hour far exceeded our earlier estimates. This study marks the first time that wind activity has been mapped in that planet so deeply. And the findings have huge implications for future Mars missions because they're going to help scientists better model the planet's atmosphere and prepare the landers and rovers for harsh surface conditions. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning into The Print.